the true horror that still haunts London, North London, 1970. A figure draped in black walks silently among the decaying tombstones. His eyes burn red, his skin pale as death. A vampire in modern-day England. Impossible, or is it? This is the true story of the Highgate Vampire, a haunting that shocked a city, divided experts, and drew hundreds into one of the most terrifying mass hysterias in British history. Chapter 1. The Cemetery of the Damned. Highgate Cemetery stands in North London, built in 1839 as part of the city's magnificent 7 graveyards. At first glance, it is beautiful, grand Victorian tombs, winding ivy-covered paths, and ancient trees that bow with age. But beneath the beauty, something darker lurks. The cemetery fell into ruin after World War II. Tombs crumbled. Vines overran entire sections. Locals avoided it. And by the 1960s, something strange began happening there. Visitors claimed they felt sudden cold spots, like being watched. Others described seeing a tall figure, shrouded in black, gliding between gravestones. A woman walking her dog fainted after seeing glowing red eyes staring at her from a crypt. 2 schoolgirls saw a corpse-like figure peering at them through cemetery gates, then vanish into thin air. By 1969, whispers spread. Highgate was haunted, but no one expected what came next. Chapter 2. The letter that started it all. In February 1970, a local newspaper, the Hampstead and Highgate Express, published a letter from a man named David Farrant. He wrote that on Christmas Eve, he had walked past Highgate Cemetery and seen something horrifying. A tall, dark figure with hypnotic red eyes hovering behind the gates. He wrote, Farrant claimed it was no ordinary ghost, something evil, something undead. That letter unleashed a flood of responses. Dozens of locals began reporting similar encounters. A man walking home at night saw a floating shadow with a skeletal face. A group of teenagers exploring the area reported being paralyzed with fear as a cold wind surrounded them. Though there was no breeze that night, others saw animals, foxes, cats, dead with no blood, no wounds, just drained. Rumors began to swirl. Was this a vampire? Chapter 3. The Vampire Hunter. Enter Sean Manchester, a flamboyant and mysterious figure who claimed to be an expert on the occult. He declared that the figure in Highgate Cemetery was no ghost, but a real-life vampire. According to Manchester, the vampire was a 15th century nobleman from Eastern Europe who practiced black magic. He had been brought to England in a coffin by followers who conducted dark rituals in the cemetery. Manchester stated the creature was now rising from its tomb, feeding. He promised to exorcise the vampire publicly on live TV. Chapter 4. Vampire Fever. The media frenzy exploded. Tabloids called it the Vampire of Highgate. Local papers published maps of the cemetery. National television picked up the story. Viewers across the country were glued to reports of a possible vampire haunting London. Then came the night of March 13th, 1970, a full moon. Friday the 13th, hundreds of people, including reporters, occultists, teenagers, and thrill seekers, stormed the gates of Highgate Cemetery. They climbed fences, tore through brambles, and lit candles near tombs. Some held crucifixes. Others brought garlic and stakes. A few claimed they were called by the vampire itself. It was chaos. Police were overwhelmed. No vampire was found that night. Chapter 5. War of the Hunters. At the center of this haunting, two men with very different beliefs. David Farrant, paranormal investigator. He believed the entity was a malevolent spirit, not a vampire. He wanted to study it. Sean Manchester, self-proclaimed vampire hunter. He claimed the creature was a real vampire and needed to be destroyed. Their rivalry became a public war. Manchester claimed he tracked the vampire to a specific crypt deep within Highgate. He said he broke in, opened the coffin, and found the body of a man with gray skin and open eyes. He performed an exorcism, placing garlic and a stake inside. He later claimed to have burned the body during a secret ritual, but there were no photos, no witnesses, no proof. Farrant, meanwhile, was arrested in 1974 for trespassing and carrying a wooden stake and crucifix near the cemetery at night. He spent time in prison, but he never stopped insisting that the spirit in Highgate was real and still active. Chapter 6. The Unexplained. Even as the media attention died down, strange occurrences continued. Visitors to Highgate Cemetery reported cold gusts in windless weather, dark shadows moving through graves, voices whispering in Latin, screams echoing with no source. Several animals were found dead, completely bloodless, and their bodies undisturbed. One witness claimed she saw a woman in white walking among the tombs, vanishing when approached. Another local said he awoke one night in his nearby flat, paralyzed in bed, as a pale figure stood at the window, watching him. But here's the twist. Highgate wasn't the only location. Reports of similar sightings emerged in Swains Lane, Hampstead Heath, and even as far as Tottenham Cemetery. Was the vampire moving, or was it never real at all? Chapter 7. What was IT really? Skeptics called it a case of urban myth, panic, and imagination. They said people were influenced by Hammer horror films, vampire books, and cold, foggy nights. They pointed to the rivalry between Farrant and Manchester as fueling the myth, but believers argue something more sinister was at play. Too many witnesses saw the same figure, too many animals found bloodless, too many unexplained phenomena in one place. Even modern paranormal investigators report that Highgate has one of the highest rates of EMF spikes and EVP, electronic voice phenomena, in London. Chapter 8. Death of the Hunters. David Farrant died in 2019. His final interviews remained defiant. He never once denied what he saw. Sean Manchester still lives, though he's kept largely private. He still claims he destroyed the vampire in 1973. Neither man ever backed down. Their story and the terrifying legend of the Highgate Vampire lives on. And today, Highgate Cemetery is locked at night, but locals say sometimes, even from the street, they see movement beyond the gates. A flash of red eyes, a cold wind, a presence that drains your energy. So if you ever find yourself on Swains Lane after midnight, don't look through the bars. Don't answer whispers, and never, ever walk alone. Wind howls. Whispered voice. Leave this place. Fade to black.